Representing the men and women on sporting fields across the globe, and especially in Port Adelaide and deep South Australia. Two blokes leading the charge that it's okay to be a little bit crap as long as you try hard. It's now time for another Best Team Men podcast.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think we'd get back to this point.
There's a lot to get through. I should first of all apologise. We had a week off. I don't know why, because we had no excuse to say we were busy. We were semi-busy.
We were semi-busy, but we also went pretty hard as well. I think there was a little period there where we smashed out 3 episodes in a week. And,
I think it was good. I missed it.
Yeah, I did miss it too. It's kind of like therapy, I reckon, for me, getting to talk to my mate
agree.
and talk a bit of shit about sport and stuff like that. Not that there's a lot of sport going on at the moment, but it's still, nice to catch up and see your face, albeit via a computer.
Yeah, it's good to see you. And soon enough, in the next couple of weeks, it'll be good to grab a coffee and to do it in the Ozcast studio.
Back in the studio,
this is
yeah.
really good. Yeah, this is a good way to be able to do this podcast, but it'll be good to get to back there and do it. Far out, mate. There's so much to talk about. It's a beautiful night here in Adelaide. It's a Thursday night. I'm looking at the full moon. It's gorgeous. I'm wearing a Villarreal top, like a jumper, which someone stole for me after Adelaide United played against them. So this is a legit Villarreal top.
Well, you won't go missing.
No.
It's pretty bright. It's brighter than my future.
Yeah. Can we? All right. I need to talk 2 things off the top.
Right.
The first one is, now I spoke to you yesterday and I just said, get a pen, let's have a chat and write some things down. The first one is, I have seen over the past few weeks, you shredding on your guitar.
Yes.
B, doing the whole swing it round you in your Collingwood get up, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think we need to use your skills and we need you to be part of the intro.
You want me to write live guitar for the intro?
I think we could have a nice mix of something with a beat in it.
Yeah.
So something a bit electronic, but putting your guitar in it as well. So
yeah, I can do that.
We haven't taken the intro from anywhere because it's organically made by us. And I can't do anything. I mean, I can play I can play the start of All Torn Down by The Living End on guitar.
A good tune.
I can play the start of Nickelback Photograph.
I wouldn't be admitting that.
A little bit of Wonderwall.
Wonderwall, yeah.
Blister in the Sun, but I think that could be a little project of yours.
Yeah, I can chip away at that for sure. Do you know what is funny though? We're not alone in the podcast universe anymore.
No.
Zoom's ruined that, hasn't it?
It has absolutely ruined it, and I'm glad you raised that as well because, look, we've spoken about this, and I think it's important to say everybody having a creative outlet and a way to express what they're doing is brilliant. Podcasting and having an avenue to be creative and to create content, tick. We need to establish something here, though, at the top. It's very important. We don't, on this podcast, promote what we are good at, okay?
No, by no means.
What we are shit at.
Absolutely.
No, we don't say what we are. We say what we are not. We are not hard hitting. We don't have credibility when it comes to the biggest issues in sport.
We are not breaking stories.
No one is going to listen to Best Team Men to hear our view on a current sporting issue. Now, we've tried that. We tried it a little bit last year and we thought, let's have people are talking about it. But what we've learned is we can start on a topic and we go somewhere else, which is totally fine because people listen to credible people to hear their thoughts. There's only so many times you can go, all right, Matty, what do you think about the sporting hubs?
If you're looking for a place to find out who's playing in this week's starting 18, then you're on the wrong podcast, that's for sure. So
that's exactly right, and we are proud of that because I think what we've done over the past few weeks, we have found our niche. And what really alerted this to me is a message I got today by a listener. His name is Damien Pratt. Now, He is a very good man. He works for TEG Live. So he's
Right.
been quite busy over the past few weeks refunding the tickets to the Australia Team USA basketball game.
Oh, he won't have a job after that either.
No, he's a very good operator and he's a great man as well. But here's the deal. This is what I got a message from today at Damien Pratt 12. Loved the running etiquette. We spoke about that in our podcast. And then he said, wait for it, Matty.
Yeah.
Listening to your Robbie Ahmat story, I played with him.
Oh, we need a character.
Post AFL career, he came to our club as a player coach.
Oh, wow.
So this is in New South Wales, AFL.
We need to ask. We need to ask the question here. Did Robbie, when he was a player coach, ever give himself best on ground?
Well, we need to find that out, and we will, because knowing what we know about Robert and his storytelling is he probably gave himself best on ground in a game he didn't play.
He won best and fairest in a season he coached from the bench.
Oh, mate, that's brilliant. And I love that people are getting that stuff out of our podcast and the
Absolutely.
little tangents we go off as well.
Well, this is a bit of an opposite one. I got a text message from a guy that was actually in my wedding. He's reasonably across everything, but tends to sort of stick in his own lane and find his own stuff. He's not much of a sheep. So he messaged me the other day and he raised about 4 or 5 points out of the Mighty Ducks movies. Right? And I said to him, I go, oh, you've been listening to the podcast. And he said, no, what podcast?
Come on.
And I swear to God, the points he raised, I sent it to him in a message. And I'll show you. You can see this. I said, suss this podcast. We cover it all. And I sent it to him. And he goes, his reply was, I'm late to the party. And then followed on to say, this is hilarious. Just heard the bit you said about Aveman being good for morale. Pretty much word for word what I texted you last night. So this is one of my best mates who clearly doesn't give a stuff about what I put up.
See, we're connecting with people.
Yeah, absolutely. But I found that quite hilarious that, he's come to me with all these points and he pointed out all the wrongdoings of everything in the movie that we went through. And I was like, mate,
as he should.
We've covered it.
We're slowly influencing people. I know that Downtown, who's the 36ers, he's the court announcer. So he's a gun, mate. Like I've worked at a lot of venues around Australia. He's the best in the NBL by far. He started a basketball essay podcast where they're discussing basketball movies. So maybe we influence them with our Mighty Ducks movies thing.
Don't you do the 36ers?
Yeah, but I do the fan engagement during the breaks.
Gotcha.
And the hype up and stuff.
Okay, so you don't call the timeouts and stuff like that.
None of that stuff. He's a jet, mate. He's good. I know that the 36ers former social media guy used to do a podcast called the Powerhouse Podcast, and he's decided to start that up again, even though we're in the off season. I don't really know what you can do.
It's not a lot. Oh, what's his name? Big Dan signed a 3-year extension, and that's it for tonight. And thanks for listening.
This week's episode.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, well, you know what?
Twitter's fascinating. Sorry, speaking of social media, Twitter's fascinating at the moment because I actually called him out the other day because journos at the moment, we spoke about journos last week, people are creating these stories because they're looking for content, right? So we were, you know how all of these AFL people are coming out with lists?
Yes.
And Andrew Bogut had a crack, and I reckon we should talk about the Jordan thing in a second.
Yep.
But Andrew Bogut had a crack about AFL journos trying to compare Jordan to NRL players and all that other shit. Yep. I think as a sports journo, it would be really tough at the moment. There's a lot of job justification going on because the boss is saying, we're going to keep you employed, but come up with content every week, or every day. That would be very difficult, and I really feel for them. But then I think, as we know, Twitter especially, people always tweet about the stuff that they hate first of all. Oh, another list. Oh, this is boring. Oh, and one of the NBL writers released something from the 36ers, and this guy said to me, oh, mate, what a horrible tweet. I'm like, well, call him out. What don't you like about it? Oh, no, it's not too bad. I called out a bloke on Twitter. I'm like, mate, he's released something on Twitter because he's trying to do his job, and not everybody who follows you or you follows him. Oh, no, good point, Jarrod. Just share the love, mate. Twitter's so toxic at the moment. Hey, people are fed up.
No, it is. And it's sort of similar to what I spoke to you about today, whereas and I put up a tweet saying, geez, we're actually really starving for some sport because some of the shit that's being spoken and just manufactured out of nowhere is quite toxic. I agree. And we've spoken about him a few times, and I'm sure you've got a great relationship with him. And I agree with Kane Corns. In my opinion, that mark is overrated, but it's caused the biggest meltdown. And if we're playing footy, that doesn't get mentioned.
No, exactly. And I've got an opinion on this, and I don't want to be too vanilla. Sometimes I reckon I'm a bit too vanilla because I'm afraid of offending people, and I don't say what I really think. What I really think about this Jesaulenko thing, Graham Corns, Kane's father, has had that opinion from day one, right? Like, I'm an avid radio nerd, so I've heard Graham talk about this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Graham, from how I know him, and I don't know him as well as many other people, he's authentic in what he believes. Graham Corns has never said something just to fire people up or clickbait as such. I reckon there's an element of Kane just saying it because he knows how much cut through his dad's opinion had, and I don't reckon Kane really believes it. I reckon he's done it just for people to fire up, and that's why Jez's daughter started, which was ridiculous as well. But as you said, Kane's developed now a niche of saying something, and he admitted it in a newspaper article the other day. He says stuff that he believes people are too afraid to say, or something that's going to generate a conversation. And you're right. The whole thing is, it's an opinion. Like, if you think Jesaulenko's mark is shit or not good as I think I said today, I've seen one mark in person and one on TV that I think are the greatest. Gary Moorcroft's mark over Brad Johnson was unbelievable, but people will say that he put his hands on Johnson's shoulder. The other one was Chad Wingard took a mark against St Kilda at Adelaide Oval a few
in the pocket
ago.
there.
Amazing. And I reckon that was as good as Moorcroft. And you would have seen heaps from Jeremy Howe and Robbie Ahmat and heaps.
He won mark of the year, didn't he, Robbie? Mate, I was right in the pocket where Goddard took the mark in the 2010 grand final. So I saw that live. And okay, so maybe the fact of the matter is the mark Jesaulenko back then was probably out of this world. And never seen anything like it. But now we've become so accustomed to your Jeremy Howes and Wingard and all these guys, sitting on people's heads for a living that, compare them to those, it's a run-of-the-mill mark. But back in 1970, whenever it was 7, like that's revolutionary. That hadn't been done before. Take away the commentary and it's probably not as good either. So, it's a
like
whole lot.
If Mike Brady re-released Up There Kazali, it's not going to go number 1 on the iTunes chart,
no,
is it?
that's right.
Good for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I can see both points of it, but I thought Jez's daughter getting involved was a little bit strange.
That was ridiculous, and that just gives it more oxygen.
Yeah.
What have you watched the Jordan thing?
Yeah, I'm through 5, so I've got 1 to catch up on tonight, which I will.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. I think it's fascinating because I'm not. And who was talking? I heard Sam Pang talking about this, and maybe Trae Young. Like, LeBron is my Jordan because I didn't grow up in the era of in the 90s. I was a kid. I was 10 years old, so I wasn't as absorbed as people were. So LeBron is that person to me. But to see the impact globally that Jordan had, he created the pathway for all of these people. The other thing is, I'm not a massive fan of cigars.
It's weird, isn't it?
He seems to be a huge fan of them. Like, do cigars taste nice?
I have no idea. I had one on my 21st birthday. And that was that long ago. I can't actually remember what it was like. Not for me. Kind of odd. I think it's kind of an ego thing.
Yeah, it's weird. And you've seen the 6, haven't you? No, 5. You've seen 5.
So so I've got episodes.
He started tearing up at the end where people were going, maybe we don't like him. So it was a bit weird. What
about the Dream Team scratch match that got a bit heated? There's just that vision, and obviously the closed caption, you can't hear exactly what they're saying, but they put the captions up and make sort of sense. But that must have cut the air with a knife on that one. But the way they all got back into the bus and started joking around again, that's quite phenomenal, really.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that is what is allowing us to go, whoa, is that all of this footage has never been seen before.
No.
So you're going to see in the next couple of episodes, and I can tell you that without telling you that, but you're going to see an episode about Space Jam, about how they created a training facility for him while filming Space Jam, where he invited all of these players like Reggie Miller, Dennis Rodman, Juwan Howard to do a game of pickup. And he did that so he could play against him, but also see how conditioned they were for the next season. Like, just kind of scout.
What about the Tony Kukoc thing? Like,
and that's amazing as well. Like,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And Scottie Pippen was paid less than Luke Longley during that time.
Yeah, I felt for him in the Pippen orientated episode. I really felt for him, and I know that to some degree it was his own doing. But surely the club go, well, you're pretty valuable to us, and you're pretty valuable to Michael. Here's a little bit more money.
I think the other thing we forget as well, and you look at these highlights, how good the other players were. Like Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, mate.
Yeah.
Amazing as well. So you see those guys back then, because it was so Jordan dominated, you would have players that are so good, but they will never win a championship because they don't have Jordan on their team. And that's in all sport. It doesn't matter how good one person can be, you need to have that team around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you look at the countless AFL players that never won flags, champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because they didn't have that team around them. And in a way, that's kind of what annoys me about the whole comparison, the LeBron, Kobe, Jordan thing, how they compare championships. Because if you're going to take championships out of it, Larry Bird's in the discussion.
Definitely he is,
in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it is a team game. So you can't define how great an individual... Well, you can, but it shouldn't be defined on championships, on how an individual is perceived. Because like you said, you could be the best player in the world, but if the other four are shithouse and you're not going to win championships, then does that make you not the best player in the world? I don't think so.
When Jordan made his return before the second three-peat, they had a shit team, and that's in the next couple of episodes. So they had to recruit, like they had to get Rodman. Horace Grant left. So they just made playoffs, and they got bundled out in the playoffs by the Magic.
Yeah.
So he needed to recruit, because what happened? They lost Horace Grant, so they needed to get Dennis Rodman to get someone to get rebounds. So it's not like, hey, Jordan steps back in and they win the championship again.
No.
You need to be around it. And what is impressive about Jordan, which I never thought I would see, he's very complimentary of the people that were around him.
Yeah, he was.
In what you would have seen, he's never just gone, I've done it by myself. Like, there's moments where obviously he knows how good he is, but he's very complimentary of the people that helped him get where he needed to be.
Yep, absolutely.
It's amazing to watch. But also, I don't know about you, the Isaiah Thomas thing, right, with the Dream Team. So he got binned out of the Dream Team because he didn't get along with Jordan and Johnson and Bird, I think.
Yeah, there was a few of them. There was 3 or 4 of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but do you think in a league that you play, right, you don't have to like your opponents? I play fucking Masters hockey.
Yeah.
I don't love all the players I play against because they're my enemy. They're my opposition.
Yeah.
So it's not like you don't have to get along with everybody. So
no.
I don't see the massive deal. Why does everybody have to be friends and friendly from someone from the other team? You're going to battle.
It looks in basketball more so. It looks like the friendships and the respect are there. Like there was a game I think at the Garden, and Patrick Ewing was in the Bulls dressing room beforehand.
Yeah,
so I think there is that sense of friendship and camaraderie and less good and bad and villain and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's always going to be people that you don't mix with in everything.
Well, you're not going to go, oh, you know what? I'm playing against Michael Jordan today. I better be nice to him. You're going, no, I want to do everything I can to be the person that beat Michael Jordan.
Absolutely. You look at the Tyson Edwards and Andrew McLeod stuff towards the end of their careers. I mean, they still played together, but it was over Leighton Hewitt. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, come on.
I know. Yeah. So I think it's a very good thing. I want to give a shout out to we spoke a little while ago and I got the name wrong I called him Nexa, right? So this is Ben.
Okay.
This is Ben Harron.
You can't get that wrong.
What are you laughing at?
Uh,
Because I said the name Ben, right?
Ben.
He's a ripper. Okay. So what
Mhm.
he's done is he's got together with a couple of his mates,
Yep.
and he has done something called the Australian Duck League. Now, I'm
Right.
not sure if it's on the socials,
Yeah.
but basically they have painted all of these rubber ducks and they've set up a race in the Adelaide Hills, and they've got commentary from a dude from the Bev Show on Facebook. It's amazing. And they're doing some great things at the moment. He's a listener to the podcast as well.
And you, Ben.
But if you get a chance, have a look. I think Sportsbet have jumped on. But it's very good. It's, you know what I find funny at the moment? Everybody's doing the rounds with these podcasts. You know, we're talking about everybody's doing podcasts. So
Everyone's doing.
Ricky Nixon did the Sacked podcast. Ricky Nixon's doing their own. I've seen Ricky Nixon do 3 podcasts, including 2 Adelaide ones over the past week. And all these people have got, how good are we? We got Ricky Nixon on for a chat. We're bloody legends, mate. Ricky Nixon is the last person I would like to speak to ever.
I love
First
it.
of all,
How
he's
good
got
are we?
Maggie 2-minute noodle hair. And this is the guy that, and I'm really, really, oh, mate, he spoke about, obviously he went on the couch and spoke about his life, and that the old president, Rod Butters of St Kilda, talked him out of jumping off a bridge after the whole schoolgirl thing happened. Like, okay, cool, you were in a really dark place. And then he went on to this Sacked podcast with John Ralph.
Ralphie.
And
Old spray on suit.
he said, yeah, you know what? The thing that changed my life was when Clinton Gribus passed away. And Clinton Gribus I knew through my dad's work. And he used that one to say that was his defining moment. He just made it all about him, mate. Maybe I'm getting old because I'm losing patience for all this stuff.
No, he's quite an odd individual, and he, like, I do follow him on Twitter, and some of the stuff he comes up with, I don't know if he gets on the drink or not, but it's polarizing. Like, it's just very, very odd. Like, he weighed into the Dean Laidley thing as well.
Of course he did, but then he made his account private or whatever. And it's all, Twitter is all about creating headlines and going me.
Yep.
Can I suggest? I did call you last night when I was on Grenfell Street, and what was the most bizarre thing I told you to put on the list?
That you're a criminal.
Oh yeah.
Or that you're a criminal, or unnecessary lifts.
Okay, great. So there's the top 2. The first one was, I'll tell you the criminal story. I was driving into the city today, and I was on the phone. So what I've noticed, I got a really nice message from someone from Cricket Australia, and they were just checking in to see how I was going. And I thought, you know what? I'm not doing that enough. Just a message. How you coping? I'm thinking about contacts that I've got, and you're the same, man, in all sorts of industries. Your industry is affected, mate, more than mine. Like, your livelihood and your passion has been put on hold. So people are affected in lots of different ways. Now, you have a couple of jobs at the moment, which is good, but there are people that don't. So mental health right now is really important, to check in with someone and go, hey, I'm literally just messaging you out of the blue to go, how you going? And if you want to chat, I'm here. If not, great. So I got a message and I thought, great, I'm going to call another person to almost like pay it forward and go, hey, how you going? On the phone to him. And I was seen behind me, and I'm in the car at the time, right? So my phone's coming through my car. Behind me, I've seen some police lights. And I thought, what's going on? This is a bit weird. No, I haven't gone through a red light. I went through a green light, unless they've changed the whole lighting structure since isolation.
You've gone colorblind or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I've gone and just stayed at the traffic lights. Now I put my hand up as well. I'm thinking, is this for me? So I put my hand up and pointed to myself like I'm going, guilty.
You know, like a soccer player gives away a foul and they're like, yeah, it was me.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought, no, possibly it's not me at all. So I've just stopped. And at the traffic lights, the cop car, which was an unmarked car, cop got out of the car, wound down my window. He's like, mate, we just saw you on your phone in your car. Now, I've done this before, but this time I wasn't. And I said, I'm sorry. And I had to hang up on the person on the phone. And I said, what are you talking about? And I wasn't rude. And I said, I was not. on my phone in the car. I was talking via the screen, which you can see, maybe a little bit of a smart ass. And he's like, no, we saw you look down at your phone. I said, the phone is right there on my passenger seat. You can see that. Why would I not use the screen, which is right there? I can tell you, I'm happy to get the screen up and show you when I hung up on the person, if you like.
Yeah.
Silence. The copper looked at me and said, oh, well, here's just a warning. I was like, what am I being warned for? And that was it.
Well, looking at your phone.
I'm nervous the whole time. I'm going 40 for the rest of the drive into the city.
It took you 4 hours to get in there. It took you 4.5 hours to get into the city.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
it's weird. And,
yeah, I get nervous around cops. Driving, even though I'm doing the right thing and doing the speed limit and all that sort of stuff, it still makes you nervous.
Yeah. So anyway, I kissed him and then
and gave him a hug after.
Yeah. So the other reason why I wanted to message you last night, because I was driving back from work in the city on Curry Street, and I've looked to the right. Now, this is a built-up Adelaide area, and I've looked into this building and traffic lights once again. 4-story building, and I've seen a lift in there, and I just thought, what an unnecessary lift. Like, there's 4 flights of stairs to get up to the top floor. There was a house at West Lakes that I used to live near, 2-story, had a lift in it.
Had a lift.
Why? What's is this just to move? Is this a boring question?
No, I like it. I reckon we can take this somewhere.
Well, what's your answer then, mate?
I don't have one. Obviously, if you've got I don't have a lift either. I live in a single-story house. But if you've got a lift in your house, I'm tipping you've got too much money for a start.
Yeah. Or you have a disability, which isn't funny. But
no.
The whole lift thing in a business in the city.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Do you know what I've noticed? There's a few places in the city that have it through the arcades and stuff like that. They all have an escalator going one way and then stairs the other.
It's ridiculous, mate. You go to David Jones in the city, it takes half an hour to try and get back down.
Get down.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Horrible. I've got I watched a sport movie the other night called The Rookie.
Okay, what's it about? Is it about a rookie?
It's about a rookie. No, so it's Dennis Quaid in it, and he's a high school baseball coach, and he's an absolute weapon. And he threw batting practice one day, and the kids egged him on and said, "Go on, throw one as hard as you can." Anyway, he's thrown one as hard as he can, and he's got a cannon. So, and this is actually a true story. This whole movie is a true story. It's on Disney Plus. And the kids wouldn't play for him, and they were a bit of a rabble and all that sort of stuff. And he was talking to them about, following their dreams and wanting to get out of the, small town in Texas that they lived in, blah, blah, blah. And they sort of turned it around back on him and said, well, if we start winning, you go and have a tryout. And he sort of agreed to it just to get them to start playing. Yeah. Anyway, they won the state championships in baseball. For the previous years, I think they'd won 1 game, 2 games, 1 game, and then ended up winning it all. Yeah. And he went to a tryout for Tampa Bay Devil Rays and threw 98 miles an hour, and subsequently got picked up and travelled around in the minors, and then ended up playing 2 seasons in Major League Baseball as a relief pitcher.
So he was working in the mines while playing baseball.
No, he was playing in the mines. Your face. People can't see your face when you ask that, but I knew you were taking the piss. Anyway, he ended up playing 2. He got signed at 38 or something ridiculous like that. So he was a rookie at 38 years old. So it sort of got me thinking. Disney Plus, it's on. Yeah, it's called The Rookie. It's a great movie. It got me thinking, what are some of the oldest rookies that you can remember?
J-Pod.
J-Pod at 29.
J-Pod won a flag with the Cats, was their kind of physio or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fitness coach or something like that.
Opened AFL Max.
Remember Troy Wilson?
Troy Wilson, West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, he was 28. I reckon he got drafted.
I'm not sure if you're aware of the Italian player, Roberto Ahmat.
He hasn't been drafted yet. He just played a few games.
Adelaide United had a rookie, Romario, who played his first
played 4 games. I remember that. He played 4 games on some weird
80s
contract thing.
Adelaide.
And could not hit sand if he fell off a camel. And then he finally scored in his last game. I remember that because everyone just got up.
Heard that. He could not hit sand if he fell off
Oh, shit. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, has there been, to your knowledge, any elderly rookies in the, NBA and stuff like that?
Yeah, there has, but more so, the thing is with the NBA, right? You can go and play in Europe. What I find fascinating about how the NBA works, in the draft, you can buy the rights to someone. So say Tony Kukoc, right? So the Bulls buy his rights and just say, stay overseas until we want you to, then we'll get you back.
Okay.
Ricky Rubio. So he was bought by Minnesota. He was drafted by Minnesota and they said, stay and play in Barcelona until we're ready for you to come to America, until you're ready. So he did. So they own you. So what happens is a lot of players can get drafted, then they can go and spend time overseas in Europe and stuff, and then come back, and then they are technically a rookie.
Right.
So it's a really strange
a loose
setup.
term, isn't it?
One other thing, it is, mate, it's a very loose term. I was thinking, I'm at the point now, like we're old, right? When it comes to sport, we're now at that stage where players are like, we're Dustin Fletcher, Brent Harvey age. But I remember watching Gary Ablett Jr.'s debut. I reckon he played his first game against Essendon, and I was at a mate's house. His name was Adam Flavel, and I don't really speak to him anymore. We kind of have a falling out in high school because he fell in love with this girl who was a real meanie, and he just chose her over his mates. Real Flavs really stuffed that one up for us. But that's okay. I've moved on and really, I don't even think about it every day.
No. I can't remember his name.
But I
Adam
thought
Flavel.
Gary Ablett made his debut, and we thought, oh, that's wicked, man. Someone my age is playing AFL. Now they're all giving up professional sport. We think the dream is over.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking about it. I've got a reasonable left foot on me, and I thought, what if I actually dedicated, 6 months to training and try and become a punter in the NFL? I'd take 1 year.
Who's the guy, the St Kilda guy who?
Yep.
Put in the draft.
Guy. He's got a strange name. I can't remember.
Robbie Ahmat.
He got drafted to Detroit. Sipos. Aaron Sipos.
The old Sipos, yeah.
Sippers.
That's right.
The golden sipper.
Sipos. It's pretty cold outside. I might put my Sipos on.
Don't drink all my drink. Just have a Sipos.
Yeah, I shouldn't joke. I'm just going to have a sip of this.
Sipos.
Just leave a banana peel outside. Hopefully I don't Sipos on it. Who was also playing in that era where Sipos played a couple of AFL games, and that was Sard. Sard's, is it Ahmed Sard?
Is he the one that got done for doping?
Yeah, but he was a gun.
He was good, yeah. And then is his brother Adam? Or
Adam Sard, yeah.
Cousin or brother? Yeah, I mean, he's lightning quick. Good player for Essendon.
My favourite delisting story is that St Kilda played Port Adelaide once. I think it was at Adelaide Oval. Maybe it was at Amy Stadium. And then players of the likes of James Gwilt finished the game, went into the change rooms, and they were told there that they had been delisted.
Oh.
They knew at the end of the game that was it.
Here's 10 years of service, played in a couple of grannies for you, and bad luck tonight, guys. But also don't worry about coming back. Yeah,
and by the way, your Qantas club has been cancelled.
You've got to pay for your own flight home. You're stuck in Adelaide now. Hey, I've been watching a bit of Fox Footy, and they've obviously got the older games on. I miss Footy Park, Amy Stadium. Like, to me, that was a massive part of my childhood growing up, driving an hour and a half down there on a Saturday night from Woodcroft.
Thinking about Footy Park, I'll probably the $150 I spend on petrol every week.
Yeah. Oh, I used to get home about 2:00 in the morning after the game if I was lucky.
Alongside the 4-hour traffic jam on Westlake Sports, it was great. Chairside Tavern, fucking $10 beers.
But if you got there early enough and you just went and bought something in the mall, you got free parking. So
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, that was good, mate. I think watching this Jordan thing, you get a bit nostalgic.
yeah,
Like I'm feeling nostalgic, like looking at these players, and life felt a lot simpler back then.
I felt simpler
Yeah.
4 months ago.
Well, it did, but you're right. I loved going to footy park. I used to go and get so I used to do the stats for the ABC, which
Right.
I got paid $50 a game, right? And this is
Amazing.
before Champion Data was there.
So
I
were you
was just
calling or
listening.
writing?
Writing. So I had
Okay.
these 2 Excel spreadsheets, and I used to do it next to Eric Freeman, who played, for the Port Maggies and also played Test cricket for Australia.
Right.
And what Fritzy Freeman used to do to me was just before halftime, he'd say, "Mate, would you go get us some party pies and some pasties?"
From the media area.
The game is, from the media area. The game is still going. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So the stats didn't matter in the end. I also used to take in a sports bag, and we had glass bottles of Coke and Diet Coke. I used to weight it and take the backpack home. So at home, I had a whole fridge full of Diet Cokes and Cokes.
That's amazing.
So what I did was I would go before the game, and I'd say to my old man, I'm like, "Mate, I'm going to get some food." I'd go down to the canteen, and this is on the West Lakes Mall side, and I got 2 large chips with chicken salt. Beautiful. Had them. Used to get really annoyed because Fritzy Freeman used to eat them all, and Rod Jamison used to take them. Like, fuck, just relax, guys. They're my chips.
Go and get your own.
So I had a crush on the girl serving me the chips.
Okay.
And
so you didn't mind going to get them?
No, it was great.
Yeah.
And I thought she was smiling at me for some reason. So I dressed up a couple of times, like wore a nice shirt, ABC radio. Yeah, I'm a fucking big dog. Anyway, I gave her my number at the end of the season once, and she messaged me. And then nothing happened because I always played it too keen with girls. I'm like, "I love you" in the first message. So one night I was on a, those party buses. Take you around. Yeah, we ended up going to church. It was church at the time.
Okay, on off Rundle Street there.
Yeah, she was smashed, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is my moment. I love you still." And she went outside and back in the gutter, and I gave her $20 to get a taxi home, and that was it.
Oh, you are a gentleman. So you've gone from villain to hero. Redeemed yourself.
Yeah. But I miss Amy Stadium for sure.
Have you seen it lately? I drive around it a fair bit. Like I'm out that way for work, and I can't wait till it's done because I'm going to go have a kick. I'm going to go.
It was good. And what I loved about it is I lived in that area as well, next door at Max Bashir. You could have a kick of the footy. I also remember once going up to kick the footy with my dad, and the Crows were training there. I had to climb a tree to get a footy out of the tree because Lance Piccioni from the Crows couldn't get it out.
Bitches.
A bit of Piccioni about it. I'm going to extend my career and go to North Melbourne.
And Hawthorn as well, yeah? Or was he there beforehand?
Hawthorn as well.
He went to both, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're good memories, mate. I think that's the thing. We always look at those things when I first moved to Adelaide, all I remember was seeing Amy Stadium, which was footy park back then, and the Hungry Jacks near it. And I thought that was heaven.
The aeroplane? Do you remember the
aeroplane outside Macca's? There's a Video Easy there. I said to my missus the other day after school once, I rode to that Video Easy and got an rental of American Pie and Hungry Jacks and went home. Like all of my mates were like, "We should have a beer because we're not allowed to." I'm like, no, mate, I've got other plans. I'm going to go home and watch a VHS of American Pie.
And you pause it on the good scene, and the lines are going across the middle of it, and you got a bloody Anyway,
pause it a fair bit.
Anyway, nah, mate.
You know what Wait.
I was going to wrap you up then. Yeah.
No, you can wrap me up in a second.
Nah, go on.
I did say in the list, you know what we need to do, Matty? We put out listener questions a while ago of the best fictional sporting characters. I reckon we just bid that because it's past.
Oh, well, if you had any in mind, hit me with them.
Yeah, but I don't know their names.
You don't know their names?
Nah, I like the fat guy on Varsity Blues.
Oh, yeah, Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Do you remember when the teacher was a stripper and she came over and she sat on the table and he's like, I give that a 10, a fucking 10.
That is a great movie, Varsity Blues.
Hey, I'll give you a movie to watch between now and the next episode, and I want your review on it. So, Tin Cup with Kevin Costner.
Okay, all right. You have to watch Waterworld.
Yeah, I'll watch Waterworld. I can do that.
I'll give you a movie to watch. Hold on, I'll think.
Okay,
about
give
it
me a
while I-
sporting movie. So I've given you
So
Tin
I,
Cup.
I watched Remember the Titans because I hadn't
Okay.
watched that before, and that was pretty good. I got a warm and fuzzy. Have you seen that?
Probably when
Denzel
it
Washington?
first came out. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about it. I probably could
Okay,
rewatch
that's on
it,
Disney
yeah.
Plus as well.
Perfect.
You get all the warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
Okay, and look, we need. Oh, what I wanted to finish on. You and I have been talking for probably 12 to 18 months about doing this reunion, right?
Yes.
There is no better time than when people are allowed to go back to pubs that we look at doing it then. So we just find it. If we get a date where they go, people are allowed back. Let's build it up. Let's pump it up. It will be a fun night. If we get one person there, great. I listen to music now in the car. I'm like, we got to play that.
Play that.
It will be a fun night.
We need, actually, funny you say that. As we move on and all that sort of stuff, I reckon start collating a bit of a list of things that you keep hearing and you think that we could play and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, we'll get some listener requests going and stuff like that too. So I definitely think we're still keen to do it.
You can watch Aaron Sippus Longstocking.
Oh, it sounds like a sex STD, doesn't it? Oh, he's got Sippos.
I'm not really sure. I never had one. So by saying, this is a reminder. This is not a credible sports podcast.
No.
There are lots of great credible sports podcasts out there. Go and listen to them if you want hard-hitting sports chat.
Yeah.
We might cover some sporting issues, but ultimately, it's just wherever this takes us. And I want to finish by saying this. The guy last episode that I told you about said, it's just a flu, the coronavirus. His name is Toby, remember? Toby.
Oh, yes.
And he suggested that coronavirus was just a flu.
Right.
Now, Toby is the guy who hosts the very successful Quizzical around Adelaide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skip.
The old skippity-doo-dah.
Essendon supporter.
Toby has a sinus infection, which has flattened him for the past 6 weeks. The sinus infection started taking control of Toby the day after he said coronavirus is just a flu. What I'll say is karma is a bitch. Take care of your family. Tell everyone that you love them. Thank you to the Ozcast Network.
That's very Jerry Springer at the end there, isn't it? That was.
And good night, Aaron Sippos.
Enjoy your $40 million contract. Oh, dear. Oh, mate. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, great to speak to you, mate. See you, buddy.
Bye. See you, mate. Bye. Sippos.